If you want to become a mage and don't know where to start, or you already have some mage experience and need a clear path of progression plus some tips on top, this video will show you exactly that and a lot more. You might have heard that the mage class is the most overpowered and widely used in the game, but did you know that as a mage your damage highly depends on the amount of mana you have? So if you want to be a successful mage, you need to make your mana numbers high. Most guides don't mention this critical aspect of the game, and in result new players max out critical damage and strength to then find out that their damage didn't even move up, but their purse magically vanished. So now with the most important thing out of the way, let's move on to the setup. First, let's talk about armor. After all, you cannot be a mage without it, so I have a few recommendations depending on your game progress. For those of you who are just starting out your Skyblock journey, I recommend getting a full Wise Dragon armor. It will cost you 4 million coins and requires level 16 of combat to use. If you are planning on using it for dungeons, don't forget to dungeonize it once you hit Catacombs 18. Now, to get the most out of your armor, make sure to reforge it to Necrotic using Necromancer Bridge. This will cost you 50,000 coins for a reforged stone and 300,000 coins to apply to the armor. But if you're short on cash, just get it to Wise at the blacksmith. One quick note, if you get the Wise reforge on Wise Dragon armor, it will say very wise instead of wise. Now, once you hit combat level 24, it's time to upgrade to the Aurora armor. It's the best armor to use outside of dungeons, but don't make the mistake of thinking that a basic Aurora is enough, because to actually make it the best, you need to store it, and it only starts becoming the best armor in the game once you turn it to burning or higher. And doing that will cost you big money, talking like 200 million coins at least. But even as a 10-star armor, which costs about 8 million coins and 36 heavy pearls in total, Aurora should be already better than Wise Dragon. Quick tip, do some dungeons and start using Shadow or Wither goggles. There is no better helmet for a mage than one of these, because Shadow goggles give you 35% ability buff and Wither goggles give you 45% ability buff, which is crazy. It's like twice as much as Sheepbed. Last armor on the list that you should consider buying in your mage progression is Storm's armor, but it's good only for dungeon players, plus you need floor 7 completion to use it, which means that we are moving way too far from early game, so let's move on to the next part. Before we do that though, please consider subscribing. Okay, enough of plugging, let's talk weapons. As an early game mage, you should start with the Epic Dreadlord sword. It costs about 500k and requires Catacombs level 5 to use. This sword deals a lot of damage, but as soon as you hit combat 24, you need to upgrade it to the Aurora stuff. For just 2 million coins, it will deal 10 times more damage than the Dreadlord sword. And with the right setup of Aurora armor with Wither goggles and a legendary sheep pet with a lot of magical power, you will be able to defeat nether bosses with ease. By with ease, I mean running around for 1 minute and trying to kill it. If killing nether bosses is your main goal, then another weapon you should consider buying is a Fire Whale wand. It makes cool fire particles around you that deal a lot of extra damage. Another thing I have to mention is the fact that Aurora stuff is very bad in dungeons, so if you are a dungeon enthusiast, then use the Bonzo stuff or Dreadlord sword instead of Aurora stuff. Also, there are other mage weapons out there, but they are not for early game, so I'll just briefly mention them. After the Aurora stuff, you should either buy the Spirit Scepter for 30 million coins or the Glacial Scythe for 60 million. Both of these are great for dungeons, zealot grinding in the end, or spawning slayers. And lastly, there are two big fishes that you probably already know about. The 100 million coins Midas stuff, which is now 300 million coins of AH, and the Hyperion with Wither Impact worth about 2.5 billion. Like, bro, the inflation is hitting hard, okay? It was like 100 million. Okay, it was not 100 million, but you know what I mean. Anyways, if you meet the requirements to use these and have the coins to buy them, then you're already a professional mage, so let's not waste time going deeper into the topic of these two. After the first part of the video, you know that armors and weapons are non-negotiable necessities. Everything builds on top of these two, but there are a lot of different tips to take your damage and knowledge even higher. So instead of splitting the video into many short parts, I've put together a section I like to call extra tips for everyone to know. But before we start, take your pen and paper or open your Minecraft launcher and try to use as many as you can now, because they are gonna be good. Tip 1. Use a sheep pet for extra 20% ability damage. Outside of dungeons, an epic one will be enough, but inside the dungeons you will need a legendary sheep pet level 100, which costs around 10 million coins. You will need a legendary because it has a one perk that says if you're in dungeons you get 25% more intelligence, which is crazy. However, if you have hard time surviving in any part of the game, consider using a blue whale pet. It's more expensive, but but it's gonna make you survive, so that's what matters. Tip 2. As I said in the beginning, as a mage, your main source of damage is the amount of mana you have. To ensure your damage is always good, use Sighted Power Stone, which you can get from using 9 Ender Monocles at Maxwell. To make the best use of Sighted, you will need a lot of magical power, which you can get by putting a lot of talismans in your accessory bag. If you need help finding the right talismans for your level, just Google accessories Hypixel Skyblock and open the first wiki page. But Sighted is not the best power you can get. The best power stone is Bizarre that you can get from eccentric paintings, but that costs about 300 million, so it's way past early game. Tip 3. Buy the Implosion Belt, buy it right now, like open the game, buy Implosion Belt right now. It costs less than 1,000,000 coins and gives you a 25% increase in explosion damage, which works with most of the mage weapons. Like, if you don't have an Implosion Belt, I don't know what you're doing, bro. Tip 4. Leveling up your alchemy and enchanting skills will give you more mana, and we all know that more mana equals to more damage, so focus on improving these skills as well as combat. Tip 5. If you have Enderman Slayer 4 and need some extra damage, use the Pocket Espresso machine. For just one soul flow per 5 seconds of combat, you will get an extra 100 intelligence. Tip 6. If you've unlocked Heart of the Mountain, start using a beacon. For a cost of 600k per 2 days, you will get more minion output and most importantly a boost to your ability damage. A tier 1 beacon will give you a 1% ability buff, while a tier 5 beacon will give you a 5% ability buff. Beacons themselves are quite expensive though, so that is more of a mid-game progression tip, but you know, you have a clear progression path now, you need a beacon. Tip 8. Just kidding, this one is not a tip but instead a summary of the video, so let's quickly sum up the most important things that you've learned today. First, more mana equals to more damage. Second, use one of the two powers, Sighted or Bizarre. Third, quick armor progression as a mage is Wise Dragon armor, then Aurora staff with stars for outside of dungeons and a Storm's armor inside of dungeons. Fourth, mage weapon progression is Dreadlord sword, Aurora staff, Spirit scepter or glacial scythe, 100 million coins Midas staff, and lastly a Hyperion. Fifth, use a sheep pet with textbook. Sixth, buy an implosion belt. Seventh, max out alchemy, enchanting and combat. Eighth, if you want to deal more damage, do everything mentioned in the video like buying accessories, beacon, pocket espresso machine, and try to find some more ways on how to increase your mage damage. And if you find something, make sure to write it down in the comments, because best comment will get 50 million coins and a pin, so make sure to leave your IGN somewhere with the comment. Also, if I believe that more than one person deserves a reward, I'll give 50 million coins to both people. So even if you think your idea is not the best, you still should share it, because you might win 50 million coins and someone will surely benefit from your idea, which is of course the more important part, you know, helping community and stuff, not the coins, not the coins. Okay, this will be it for today's video.